Hi, I'm Aarti. Welcome to my mini art supplies haul. Now I am supposed to be on a no buy this year, but I just couldn't resist. This one is acrylic clear gesso, which I actually did need. So that's what I wanted to pick up, but I ended up picking up all of this as well. Please comment down below if this happens to you also when you go into an art shop. Fortunately, the damage wasn't too much, so yeah, not too bad. Anyway, so the clear gesso is basically to paint on top of my pencil drawings, my gouache, and other things in order to make it easier to draw over it in pencil. Now, I'll do a whole video on this. I have not opened it yet. It is a sealed bottle, but Liquitex has been my go-to for both matte medium as well as acrylic paint, and now clear gesso as well. This is a small 250 ml bottle. 118 ml bottle actually, not even 250. I don't think I will need that much of it in the coming months, which is why I didn't buy a bigger bottle. Usually I would have gone for the largest size possible. Anyway, so that's the clear gesso. I'll come to the sketchbook in a minute, but what I did pick up is a Tombow blender pen. I didn't actually realize that they had these, and both sides are a blender. So let's just try it out. I'm just going to try it the way Copic markers work. The second one is an N57, kind of like a greeny khaki color. Can't see that much difference. Oh, it does make it easier to blend, look. Ha! Who knew? Well, that's going to change things, isn't it? Okay, well, it does collect some color. I guess I'll have to have like a scrap piece of paper next to it as well. Okay, so that was what I wanted to get it for. I wanted to get nice blends. I already have a fair few Tombow pens. As you can tell, I bought them all individually, but I was lacking a few colors and also obviously the blender pen. So that's the blender pen. I think it'll come in really handy. And then I got, I think I already just swatched these two. So this is N57, which is kind of a gray, but more in the yellowish tones. And then this is 098, which is a beautiful limey green, but more sort of subdued. And then this one is 177, which is a really deep sap green. Now, these three colors I really wanted because I don't have anything like these in my pack so far. I mean, I bought them all individually. I'm not quite sure why I didn't buy darker colors, because I do tend to go towards more muted shades when I'm drawing with others in Zoom sessions and so on. So if you look at the colors I already have, I have a mint and I have this green. I don't have any other greens in this. So I'll swatch these for you as well so you can see how bright they are in comparison. So this is kind of like a minty green, and that is a brighter green. Neither of these are greens that I would ever use when I'm drawing greenery or shrubs or anything like that. I would use that, and maybe a yellow. I would probably use something like this, or slightly less bright, something like that. In fact, this seems to be running out. I might have to get another one. It is actually quite old. I've had it a couple of years, I think. Anyway, so those are the three greens. Let me just put the numbers down for you. One is 098. That's 098. I do see that the Tombow things have names, but they don't put it on the pens. They just have the numbers, which actually is kind of easier to figure out. And that's 177. Okay, so those are the three Tombow pens. And then I saw that there were some markers on sale. Now, I've always wanted to try, the Ecoline has been recommended by people like Monkey Mintaka and others. And I've always wanted to try the Liquitex markers. Now, You can see my Posca collection here. I don't have a bunch of colors, but they're just random. They came in an assorted set. But I've heard that the Liquitex markers are actually better than Posca's because they're actual acrylic paint inside and they're refillable. Now, I do hate the fact that Posca's are a bit of a waste in that way. These do work in the same way, so you have to shake them and then keep pressing them down on the paper until the ink appears. Squish, 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 and there you go. Ooh, that's nice. So these are chisel tips, and so I can do thick lines or I can do thin lines with the edge, and that is actually really nice. That's lovely. It does smell like acrylic paint, like Liquitex acrylic paint. So that one, it does tell you the pigments as well. This is 2 to 4 millimeters. Excellent light fastness, which I haven't seen any light fastness on the Poscas, though I do know they last a very, very long time. And this is cadmium red. So cadmium red. There were only 3 pens on sale and I didn't go for the non-sale ones, although I guess I could have. But seeing as I'm on a no-buy for art supplies, I was already breaking it. So I figured, let's just not. Oh, look at that. That is a beautiful blue. That's really a forget-me-not blue, isn't it? Let's just draw a little forget-me-not there. Yeah, that's lovely. And that is light blue permanent. And it is, again, light fastness, excellent. The third color is light pink. Again, excellent light fastness. I did buy, I think there were a couple more colors, but like silver and stuff, but I bought the ones that I thought I would get the most use out of. Oh, lovely. This is the color they usually call flesh pink, but it's only flesh for Caucasian skin. So that's light pink. It's a bit lighter than I thought it would be, but I guess you could go over it in layers. Now, I'm going to try, the red is dry already. Oh, it does work pretty well on top of other colors. I guess in multiple, yes, in multiple layers it does become opaque, this pink. So yeah, I'm very pleased with that. And then the next color that I went for is the Ecoline brush pen. I only got one because these were not on sale and I've just wanted to try them because people have recommended them. So I just got one. I was trying to be good. Now, I'm not quite sure how to, these are by Royal Talents, by the way. I'm not quite sure how to use these. I guess I'll just shake and, ooh, that's a beautiful, that's exactly the color I wanted. It is actually quite different from the cover. It's more in line with what's here, but it is lighter. That's lovely. Absolutely lovely color. This is 718. 718. Nice. And it layers nicely with the Tombows even when it's wet. Oh, that's great. That's really great. Let's see how it works with a pencil over the top. Oop, that's the wrong thing. I guess it's the wrong color for that, but that works well. Okay, so I'm quite pleased with those. Let me just get the ones I actually bought and put the rest of them back. So yeah, so those are, that is my pen haul. 4 Tombows, an Ecoline, and 3 Liquitex pens. And then of course my acrylic clear gesso. Now, when I do this video, I will pop it up in my community tab as well. And I don't think I have swatched all of my Tombows. So I might do that as well. Let me know in the comments if you would like to see that. So let's put those away and let's put these away and come to the last item on my list. This is a sketchbook from C. White of Brighton, but it has been screen printed on by Sophie Greenwood of Ink and Bear. I actually purchased this in her shop closing sale during Super Seconds Festival. Super Seconds Festival is basically 250 makers selling samples in seconds twice a year. I took part in that as well. And this is what I got from Sophie from Ink and Bear. She is actually closing her shop, so she's not going to be selling these anymore. So I figured it was my last chance to pick it up. She screen printed this absolutely beautiful constellation bear. She did t-shirts and things as well, but I was more interested in this. And I've also not seen this format of C. White of Brighton sketchbook anywhere else. Now, it's not like I needed another sketchbook. Oh look, I've put her stickers in the front as well. It's not like I needed another sketchbook, which is why I thought, seeing as my haul is so small, I would give you a little tour of my empty sketchbooks. This is a C. White of Brighton one, but it's not the only C. White of Brighton one that I own. I also have previously shown you this massive chunky C. White of Brighton book. I just did a sketchbook tour of it actually, so if you want to go and see that, that is on my channel. So that is C. White of Brighton, and so is this massive A4 sketchbook, which it doesn't even fit in my screen. This is actually almost finished. I have just a couple of pages left in it, literally, and this is one of the reasons why I've taken out all my sketchbooks today. I'm going to finish this very, very soon. So I need to decide which sketchbook I'm going to work in next. Now, I recently finished this Odd Orange sketchbook. It is one of the sketchbooks that I use to draw with others in. And I've already replaced that with this Art Gecko sketchbook. This will be the next video that comes up on my channel after this one. And I also have this C. White of Brighton Cup Cycle sketchbook, which is recycled paper, in which I started a 30-day project for Gouache-November and only finished a few pieces. So it's clearly blank. So yeah, I will actually at some point finish this 30-day challenge in this, because I did have a bunch of sketches at the end as well. So clearly, C. White of Brighton is one of my favorites. So that's a C. White of Brighton Cup Cycling one. But I also have two more completely empty ones. Well, I've tried a little bit in the back, but empty. Empty. Oh, not empty. Haha. I have actually used this for a class. But again, pretty much empty, huh? But now wait, there's more. This is a C. White of Brighton A5 140 GSM sketchbook, hardbound, completely blank, but it has beautiful pages. It does lie almost flat, so I'm looking forward to using that. But I have not one, but two of them. Yeah, call me a sketchbook holder. Oh well. So there's that. Then there's the Render sketchbook that I picked up in my last art haul, which I haven't yet opened because I am actually saving it for an alcohol markers video, because I really don't like alcohol markers, but I do want to give them a fair chance. And once this Art Gecko sketchbook is finished, I will actually start using the Render one for my group drawing sessions. So that's what that is earmarked for. Then there's the Royal Talents one, which loads of people have recommended. I think I'll probably, so the choice of starting a new sketchbook is probably this one, is one of the, oh look, I've already got a big chunk of sketchbooks, haven't I? Oh well. And then I have the Nina Cosford sketchbook, which I actually got more than 2 years ago, and I still have not opened it and tried it. I'm not quite sure why I haven't done that. Perhaps it's because it is thinner pages. It is actually quite thin paper. I don't know if I'd be able to do gouache on it. Definitely not watercolors. So yeah, maybe this should be the next one that I start as well. Okay, so there's two options of sketchbooks to start next. This one is the Nova Trio series. The Stillman and Burns sketchbooks have been highly recommended by Sarah Burns. I don't know if you follow her channel. She does landscapes mostly. Stillman and Burn is an American brand, and this particular one, oops, I've already torn that. This particular one has 3 different types of toned paper. So it has tan, black, and gray. I have never used a toned paper sketchbook. During my university years in 97 to 2001, I have used toned paper, but not since then. So I don't think that I'll use this just yet. I feel like I need to take maybe On Marwin's class on toned paper before I actually work in this. So this one is going back in my stash. And the last one I have is the Pomelo sketchbook from Pith. Pith sketchbooks have this lovely open binding, and this is not quite A4. So if I bring back that A4 sketchbook and put them side by side, you can see it is at least a good 1.5 to 2 inches shorter, but the same width. I didn't like the A4 sketchbook, so I thought this might be a little bit better. It doesn't have a black cover. I usually prefer a black cover to my sketchbooks because they get quite messy, but I could always like put a layer of like matte medium or something over it. And I haven't had this very long, and I can already see the corners kind of giving way. So I don't know how hardy the sketchbook is going to be. It's not going to be one that I dump in my bag. Now, the thing about this sketchbook, let me move these two away. The thing about this sketchbook is that it lies perfectly flat, and that is because of the binding. The Odd Orange sketchbook also does that because it is bound in the same way. Like if you look at, oops, the other way around. If you look at the binding, it's bound in sections. So if you open the Odd Orange sketchbook, it also lies completely flat, even though when you open it. But this one lies super flat. So even when you open the fresh sketchbook, it automatically, like you just have to press the page down a little bit and it lies perfectly flat. So this is a really good project sketchbook for using for things that I might do across spreads, which is not something I normally do, but I could do that if I wanted to. I'm actually decision making right here with you. I will use this for my botanical studies, which I'm planning to do because I've been doing a lot of patterns lately. And I feel like even though I've been doing them on the iPad mostly, I feel like I want to do some which are gouache so that I have the texture of the paint. And this one, if you look at the paper in the C. Writer Brighton sketchbook that I normally use, you can see that there's a slight difference. It's slightly creamier in color than the other one, and the C. Writer Brighton has more of a texture than the Pith one does. But this is actually a really good texture for gouache, and I think it's slightly thicker than the Nina Cosford sketchbook. So I think that'll be really good. I will test all of these out and do videos for them, but it might take a little while. So I think I will definitely use this as a project sketchbook. I don't think there'll be a tour of this in the next 3 or 4 years, maybe. I mean, you never know. I might be prolific and suddenly finish it. And then there's this, which has 80 pages. So that one has, how many pages does it have? It has 156 pages of 130 GSM acid-free paper. This one has 80 plain pages, and it doesn't say what paper it is, but it's pretty nice. And I think I'll wait for this one till I can take a class. And then I think I'll use the Art Creations one as well. I am going to keep these C. Writer Brighton sketchbooks for other projects because I know that I will need them. I think I've already used this one, for example, for a lettering class. So I think I'll just keep this book for now for lettering and just do lettering in it because there's loads of pages. And now that I've started it with a theme, might as well, it's a small enough book. This is only 140 GSM, 40 pages. So I'll keep that for that. Have I started this? No, I haven't. This one is blank, 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 and blank. So yeah, so you can see my sketchbook habit is well and truly alive. And then the Odd Orange sketchbook has been replaced by this Art Gecko one. I think I showed this to you in my last art haul. So if you want to go check that out, have a look. So that's been replaced by this. And then when that finishes, I will replace it with this Render sketchbook. And then I have this one that I need to finish, that 30-day project, because I really do like the direction in which this was going. The kind of like swirly texture with the gouache. I really like this cake actually, even though I don't like cake in real life. And then this one I actually wanted to make into a tea towel or a print. We'll see. Anyway, so I have to finish that one, but that is an actual ongoing project. So I have 3 that I'm going to start working in. And then all these blank ones that are going to go back on my shelf, these ones that I'm working in with other people, and then 2 that I have to kind of finish, plus this one where I've just got literally 1 page left. I might actually do this on a YouTube live. Let me know if you want me to finish this sketchbook on a live stream. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and see you next time when I will be showing you my testing phase and a few drawings in this sketchbook. Bye.